will be presenting Second Chances, a play for stage.
Good evening. I will begin with a monologue. Do I believe in love at first sight? What kind of a question is that? Love at first sight? Hon, you're lucky I believe in love, period, let alone at first sight. A woman like me has been through too much. Love at first sight is a crock. Some fantasy written for teenage girls to moon over in their rooms. I thought my ex-husband was love at first sight. You can see how that went. Now, infatuation and lust at first sight, oh, those are real. You can look at a person and think, man, are they hot? Look at those breasts or look at that ass. That's how most couples get started, really. Infatuated with something about one another. The ones that make it to love, they're the really lucky ones. I mean, when you think about it, love isn't so much a feeling as a process of commitment in our culture. We live in a monogamous world. People are just supposed to meet one special person and poof, they just work at loving them and keep them. Maybe that's how I screwed it up, you know, not working at loving him. Then again, he didn't really work at loving me. I lost faith in the idea of love for a while. Then I got a cat. She's an amazing thing, my cat. She let me see that working at love doesn't always have to feel like work. You see, every morning that cat insists on snuggling with me in my bed. At first it frustrated me because I didn't want her crawling in the bed. Then one day I realized that I kind of looked forward to that little fuzzy snuggle, you see. The kind of love I really want is a partner that appreciates me, truly, in the way I appreciate that cat. Someone who is happy when all I want to do is crawl in bed and curl up next to them. This is the monologue that created the character June and first began my play Second Chances. Initially done as a rant to show my cynicism about the subject of romance and love as a whole, it became something more, and it shows my journey and growth as an author and a student here at Shepherd. The journey itself and the project began in Dr. Messenger's creative writing drama workshop last fall. The play itself has been through multiple drafts, from the final portfolio piece of my drama workshop to a page-to-stage competition version, to a version that was published in Sans Merci, and now as my final capstone version. As a student, going through so many drafts and versions of a creative piece has taken a lot of work, but I believe it has been and continues to be very worth it. As a journalist and a writer, one of my larger career goals is to write about theater and film and art. Something I've done in a variety of ways with the Picket and through my coursework here at Shepherd. As a person who wants to write about theater, I felt that understanding it inside out and from the ground up was key. I thought the best way to do that would be to experience theater from the ground up. I've done this a little bit with Rude Mechanicals, and in this case, the idea is experiencing it from a script up and eventually to a fully performed play. Second Chances is a play about a woman dealing with a difficult life she was handed. My main character, June, is a recently divorced diner waitress coming to terms with her own sexuality and an abusive ex-husband who doesn't want to let her go. She has interactions with her boss, Dave and Roy, who are two regulars at the diner and become friends through tragedy, and Claire, a career woman with a kind but assertive personality. Through her journey in the play, June makes deeper friendships with these acquaintances and finds new love in an unexpected place, all while learning to love herself more. In creating the play itself, I wanted to both explore the character of June and also create a unique spectacle for the stage. The spectacle is taken on in the concept of June's internal world versus the external world. In the script, I actually have the stage divided into two halves. The first half is the real world, as reflected in this case by the diner setting. The second half of the stage represents June's internal world and is always set as the venue of a child's bedroom. The half of the stage which is laid out inside June's head features internal characters that never actually speak in dialogue, but must convey their message to the audience through gestures and emotion, making them a little bit larger than life, in spite of two of them initially being cast as children. The playroom setting showcases June's inability to let go of her past and heal through much of the play, eventually showing a sort of rebirth in the moment that she gets to let go in the finale. The staging was in part influenced by other stage plays I was familiar with, such as Tony Kirshner's Angels in America and Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie. June's character growth as a whole was my larger goal in Capstone specifically. I opened my presentation earlier with the monologue showing a bit about her definition of love toward the beginning of the play. In the changes I made, I've added 3 new scenes before the finale, including a funeral scene and a scene where June goes to therapy. These new scenes show June in the internal world addressing her grief and guilt in a more detailed way than previous drafts, which I thought allowed a happy ending to kind of come seemingly out of nowhere. June finishes her scene in therapy in a similar way to how she began the show, breaking the fourth wall with her monologues. The ending monologue is June's breakthrough moment and shows how her view of love and herself have changed from the cynical scene 1 variation, a theme that will be reinforced by the final scene when she is embraced and appreciated by those around her as she always has been, but did not really notice. To showcase her growth as a character and the changes to the piece, I will share with you that ending monologue and June's closing. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be loved. Do I? Maybe I never really felt like I deserved to be loved. Maybe what I thought was love isn't love at all. Maybe love and caring about someone is something more. I guess it's deeper than curling up with my cat or just wanting someone to accept you. It's never going to be easy, but nothing ever worth doing was. I can keep it up, right? It's important to keep trying, keep moving. I'm not a strong person. Claire, she's strong. She always seems to know the right thing to do, and Dave is strong too. Always so positive about anything, even after all of his troubles. I'm more like Roy. I don't see the roses and the opportunities. My friends, they care. They keep trying, even when I push them away. It's beyond time I was better about it. So here goes. I deserve to be loved. This play has a lot of me in it. Through my experiences and the pieces of the characters, I want to thank you all for coming with me on this journey and helping me grow as an author and a student here.
All right, questions for Jessica?
We have a lovely sense of dialogue, and you also have you done a lot of acting yourself? Because you have a lovely persona.
In a previous life, I did a lot, and I did do a semester with Rude Mechanicals last spring.
That's great. What, and the question I have then is, I mean, obviously you've studied a lot as literature, drama, and do you attend plays a lot? Are you drawn to contemporary plays? Have you done any contemporary American Theater Festival plays?
I haven't done a contemporary American Theater Festival play as a performer. I have reviewed 3 of them through the Picket and other organizations. And theater is a great love for me. It's something that I do an awful lot and I kind of dig my teeth into.
It shows.
I like the idea of the 2 stages. Is that in terms of the actual play, are those two stages active side by side?
Yeah, they are actually simultaneously active in certain situations, where the characters in the internal world actually reflect kind of what's going on for June on the outside.
Okay.
In this final version of the play, do the little girl still never talks?
Nope, there is still no talking in the internal world. That did not change.
I thought I heard in the last monologue a nice twist on the gospel of aspiration, the idea of always trying, the idea of getting up one more time than knocked down. In Victorian times, it was often applied to a sort of I can do more, be more idea. And it sounded like in the soliloquy that your character, instead of trying to be more to others, is trying to reverse that and allow them to be more to her. Was that intentional?
It is intentional because a lot of the character's problem and initial issues result from the fact that she doesn't feel like she can depend on or trust other people.
What's the reason for casting like the internal mind parts as children?
It addresses, I think, June's pain because some of her pain is addressed, it's not in the portion of the play I've read, with issues dealing with her father.
This is kind of a follow-up to this question, but is it a maturity that she goes through, like in learning, like given that the children are representative of her mental state, is there an immaturity to her attitude at the beginning that she?
I've never really thought of it that way, but yes, probably.
Cool, thank you.
Any others? All right, thank you, Jessica.